Hey guys, James here from TCGU University. Come back at you with another deck profile. Today I'm going to show you my Chun 2-dot deck. Make sure to check out the Campus Championship so you can see this deck in action. And then let's get into it, guys. Okay, guys, Chun is a 627 with Air, Earth, and Good. She has 2 abilities. E, commit 1 foundation. Your punch, kick, or fury attack gets 3 speed, and you can add it to your staging area during the add to your staging area face down during the end phase. And then E, once per turn, add 1 face down foundation to your momentum. This attack gets +2 or -2 damage. So she can gain some snap momentum with her own ability, and then can commit things to give speed to her attack so they can inevitably come down into her staging area face down. We wanted to play a cool combo deck, which is what I built. And the cool combo that we're going off of is Raging Dragon Zodiac. This is one of my favorite attacks from that Soul Calibur set. I think it's greatly underused, especially with how good Sense of Morals is and a bunch of other cards is, especially with like characters that can use the momentum and whatnot, but we never see any play with these cards. So Raging Zodiac is a 5/3 4 mid for 8 with a 1 mid block that has Fury, Punch, and then combo with the foundation. The combo is you can discard X momentum and ready X foundations and draw X cards. So basically you discard as much momentum as you need to. You get to ready as much foundations as you discard momentum for and draw as many cards as you discard momentum for. So like you get to Chun-Li a bunch. We got a couple other things to do cool things. And you get to draw a bunch of cards. The idea of the deck was to always draw as many cards as possible and keep doing cool things. So that was one of the things we were doing. The other thing that worked kind of the same way Dragon Zodiac did was Covert Intent. Covert Intent is a 5/1 with a no block. It doesn't count. It ignores progressive when you play it, so you never have to worry about all the cards in front of it. And then its ability is respond, discard momentum. After an attack resolves, both players discard all cards from their card pool and draw cards equal to the number of cards they discarded. So this works really well with this as well. Even though you discard all of your momentum, we have a bunch of other cards that gain us momentum. Obviously, like Fatality, you'll see a bunch of the other ones. But we gain a bunch of momentum, and so we fill up our card pool because he has to combo with the foundation. We fill up our card pool, and then we clear it afterwards and draw even more cards. And we readied everything with Zodiac beforehand. So we readied everything, cleared our card pool, have fresh progressive, and a full hand. This one practically replaces itself, and this replaces everything we already played, meaning we have like double our printed hand size almost. I got it to go. I had a good game where like I had like 8 or 9 cards in the card pool and only 1 progressive, and it was pretty sick. So check out the Campus Championship for that, guys. Next, we're going to talk about Fataball. Fataball says, respond, commit, add any number of cards. After you add any number of cards to your momentum, you get to add 1 card from your hand to your momentum. This works really well with Chun-Li. Once she adds 1 of her momentum to your hand, you just respond, commit, add another one to your hand. From your hand to your momentum, you add a foundation to your momentum, and then you add a card from your hand to your momentum. It also has a cool twice per turn ability that says all of your Furies get +2/+1 as an enhance, which just means all of our things are faster and stronger. But we mainly use it for the momentum ability because we want to go off and do cool things. Next, we're playing 3 Fatality. I personally, actually, after thinking about the deck and playing a little bit, when I built my other deck that this deck was kind of like a test for, we'll probably play 4. I think the deck really needed it. But this is a 0/3/0/0. It deals no damage as a static. It can't deal damage ever. It's a 1 mid with safe and taunt, because taunt's a cool keyword. After it resolves, it goes to our momentum. And then respond. You can name a card, and you remove all copies of that card from your opponent's discard pile. So you basically kind of like get rid of problem cards you don't want your opponent to see later in the game, and then it gives you snap momentum so we can use it for things like Raging Zodiac and our Covert Intents. We're playing 3 Velocity Hammer. It's a 4/3, 4 low for 4 with a 3 low block. Enhance, add 1 of your foundations from your staging out to your momentum. She commits for her ability, so we can commit, give this 3 speed, making it a 7 for 4, and then add that foundation to our momentum. And then have that momentum, obviously, again, for Zodiac, and I'll put a Covert Intent here, too, so we can see it. Since this is what our deck's trying to do, let's try to get all these in frame. Almost there. So yeah. So it adds us more momentum to use with Zodiac and Covert Intent. Next, we're playing 2 Black Snakewing Sabat. It's a 4/3, 1 mid block, 2 high for 5 Fury Kick. If you have more momentum than your opponent, you get to draw a card. And then E, you add 1 foundation from your card pool to your momentum, and then this attack will gain a multiple 1. We'll never really use the multiple 1. We mainly do that ability so that way we can get more momentum and use Zodiac and obviously that. And then it allows us to draw cards as well, which means we get to see more cards in our turn and hopefully do more cool things. Next, we're playing 3 Let's Cut Loose. You really want to add certain foundations to your hands because they're useful. We'll talk about those in a second. But this searches out those cards. We get to pick them up from our discard pile, and then it replaces itself. Let's Cut Loose is a 3/6 with a no block. It's just a really good card all around that really just facilitates our deck. Next, we're playing 3 Power Flip. Power Flip's a 5/3, 5/5 for 5 with Stun 1, Reversal, and Kick. Has no block on it, but who cares? Its ability is add all foundations from your card pool to your momentum. So you just add them into your staging area ready, and then you get to keep doing more cool things. So like when you have a bunch of Sensimorals in your card pool because for whatever reason that's what you ended up with, you get to just add them all into your staging area, have more ready things, and still have more room to go off. Or you get the ability to, on reversal, block with a bunch of foundations, reversal with this, and bring all those down on its own. This card just really said have more foundations than we were supposed to. Next is Nutcracker. Nutcracker's a very good card in our deck as well. It's a 4 low for 4, 4 div, 3 control, 2 mid block with Breaker 2, Charge, EX3, Punch, and Slam. The enhances add 1 foundation from your discard pile to your card pool, and then draw 1 card. That works really well when we're trying to combo with foundations and whatnot. As well as if your opponent is a male character, this gets +4 damage. So this card's going to be really beefy. We can give it 3 speed with Chun-Li, making like a 7 for 8. But we mainly use it to try and add foundations to our card pool so we can do, obviously, more cool things. And it draws us a card and kind of replaces itself. So it's pretty cool. Next, we got 2 Cannon Crack. Cannon Crack's really nifty in this deck. It's a 4/3, 4 high for 4 with a 1 low block and a Fury. E, discard 1 card. Add 1 of your face down foundations to your hand. This card says pick up cards that we used the last turn and use them again this turn. And then Deadlock E, this attack gets 4 speed, 4 damage. Most of the time you won't ever get the Deadlock, but being able to pick up face downs that you already had at one point is really cool. And then we're playing 1 Spirit Sword Thrust. Spirit Sword Thrust is a 5/3 with a no block, 5 mid for 5 with Charge, Desperation, EX2, and Weapon. Chun-Li cannot give this speed or damage, but the reason this card's still in this deck as a 1-of is E, add up to 3 face-down foundations from your staging area to your hand, so you get to add all those attacks or whatever foundations back to your hand. And then this attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage for each foundation added this way. So if you have a bunch of attacks face down, you want to get those to your hand. You just pick all those up, and then this gets 3/3, which makes it an 8 for 8 anyways, so who cares about Chun-Li's ability? Next, we're going to get into some foundations. We got 2 Forbidden Technique. Forbidden Technique works extremely well with Chun-Li. It's a 3/5 with a 2 high block with Breaker 1. After you block with it as a static, you're able to ready 1 face-down foundation, which works really well with Chun-Li too. Chun-Li as well, I guess. And then E, flip. Add the top card of your deck to your staging area face down, which gives you more face downs to add with Chun-Li to your momentum, which is the crazy part. Getting more foundations that you can add to your momentum so you can do cooler things with the other cards. Next, we're talking about Summer Vacation. Summer Vacation is a very good card in this deck. It's a 3/4 with a no block, but it's a unique that says, E, commit, choose 1 card in your card pool. That card does not count towards progressive difficulty for the rest of the turn. This card works really well with Dragon Zodiac, because it allows you to commit, make Dragon Zodiac ignore, and then Dragon Zodiac do its a cool ability, ready this, and have it playable for the next thing. Just really cool card. Allows you to lower your progressive on your turn and keep playing it throughout the turn, so you always keep lowering your progressive down. Works really well when you play a bunch of things that move and do move and don't count on their own. Next, we got 4 Sensimorals. Sensimorals is a card that doesn't count towards progressive. It's a 2/5, no block. E, check a 4. Ready 1 foundation has not been raided. Ready 1 foundation that has not been raided this combat phase, but has been committed due to your opponent's effect. So, I guess it doesn't say that first part. So E, check a 4, ready one of your foundations that has been committed due to your opponent's effect this turn, playable while committed. So it doesn't matter if it's been ready before, just ready a card that has been committed by your opponent's stun abilities, you've been committed by something else. Just, we mainly play it for the cool, add to our card pool, it doesn't count. Hey, that's a foundation in front of my Raging Zodiac, I'll do a cool thing. It's mainly what it's built for. Next we got 4, Burning with Revenge. So this is a 2/5 of the 3 mid block. Has a stack that says after it's committed due to a stun ability, you get to ready one of your other foundations. And then E, card pool, your attack gets +2 damage. You may add this to your staging area face down, committed. So this works really well with our Raging Zodiac as well, because if we have it in our card pool, we can give it 2 damage and leave it there and still have the foundation combo for that. Or we can add it in face down and hopefully have another foundation to then ready this one as well, meaning we can do cool things during our turn. Next, we're going to talk about Dandy of the Seas. Dandy of the Seas is a 1/5 of the 2 high block that says E, card pool, this attack gets +1 or -1 damage. If this attack has Fury, you may add this card to your staging area, face down, committed. Works kind of the same way Burning with Revenge does. We kind of use it with Raging Zodiac the same way. Just get more cards into our staging area faster and ready cards as much as possible. Then we got 1 Wandering Pirate. It's a 2/4 with the no block. After the combat phase, after your opponent's combat phase begins, you ready it, and then it has a respond twice per turn. After this foundation is readied or committed, ready one other foundation that has not been ready this combat phase. Playable while committed. This card just allows us to extend just a little further on the cards we're playing per turn, as well as make sure we don't really get blown out by our opponent. Next, we got 2 Endless Determination. It's a 2/5 of the 3 high block. Respond once per turn. After this foundation is committed due to a cost, ready it, playable while committed. This works really well with Chun-Li. We can commit it, give something 3 speed, and add it back down later, and ready our Endless Determination. As well as the other ability, which is E, once per turn. Add one of your momentum to your staging area face down, committed. This works really well with Chun-Li because we can just add our momentum face down if we don't have any face down momentum, and then use her once per turn to add it back in and just give something -2 damage. It just says if we don't have the availability to use her ability, we just kind of get to do it. Next, we're playing 2 Shadow Inheritance. Shadow Inheritance is a 2/5 of the 2 low block with Breaker 1. We can't use the Cassie Cage Enhance, but we can use the Respond Commit. Before a player attempts to block this attack, their block modifier gets +1 or -3 for each non-attack card in your card pool. This works really well because we're constantly trying to put cards in our card pool so we can covert intent them away, or Raging Zodiac draw cards. It just allows us to take advantage of that. Next, we're playing 2 Carrying the Legacy. For the same reason as a bunch of the other cards I've shown you so far. It's a 2/5 of the 2 mid block. Respond card pool. After an attack is played, it gets +1 or -1 damage. Kind of helps with speed. Kind of helps with taking less or dealing more. But mainly we use it for the E. Add this card to your card pool. Add one other foundation from your card pool to your staging area, and seal it, playable while committed. This card works really well. As a committed card, we add something in ready and have a better progressive to work on, as well as get cooler cards in our staging area. Like if we add with Nutcracker, we can immediately add this in and try to do some cool things with it. Then we have 1 I Have a Sword. I Have a Sword is a 1/5 of the 3 low block that says R commit. After your attack deals damage, add 1 face down foundation from your staging area to your hand. This just says pick up a cool card that we can maybe block with if we have to face things. If our opponent face tanks something, it just says we get to go in a little harder, hopefully at least. Then we got 1 Omega Sword and Owl Shield. It's a 1/5 of the 1 mid block. While this card's ready in our staging area, all our blocks ignore progressive difficulty. And then E, check a 4. Your attack gets a damage bonus equal to its printed block modifier. Playable while committed. This card just says we are allowed to block on our turn if we get reversaled and not get punished for it. One of the most difficult things to do is if we're trying to do cool card pool turns is our opponent blocks and reversals and we have no way to block because we put 5 cards in our card pool just by ourselves. This just says we ignore all that and block anyways. We got 2 Bakery Poster Girl. It's a 2/5 of the 2 low block that says E destroy. Reduce this attack speed to 0. Only playable if your opponent has played 3 or more enhanced abilities this combat phase. Playable while committed. This is basically in here because this works really well with Chun-Li. We're able to commit it on our turn, and it's still playable on our opponent's turn while committed, so we don't have to worry about wasting a foundation. We got 1 Confronting Jetta. We give speed of Chun-Li, so this is a very good card. It's a 2/5 with a 2 high block that says E, once per turn, this attack gets plus X or minus X damage. X equals the difference between its attack's speed and its printed speed. Since we always give 3 speed, we can always give an extra 3 damage with Confronting Jetta. Then we got 3, Passing the Torch. It's a 2/5 with a 3 mid block that says Enhance Commit. Either draw 1 card, or if you have no cards in your hand, draw 2. This card also works really well with Raging Zodiac because we can, if we just play a cool card, play a thing, we have a bunch of momentum, we can commit, draw cards, and then use Zodiac and just ready this back up and not really have done anything, but got to draw cards off of this and draw cards off of this without being punished too much for it. Then we got 4 New Empress in Another Realm. It's a 1/5 with a 3 high block that says E, flip, lose 3 vitality, draw 1 card. This just allows us to see more cards in a turn, so that way we can try to do more cool combos in a turn. Then we got 3 Protecting the Protector. It's a 1/5 with a 2 low block that says respond, discard momentum. After your opponent plays an ability that commits, destroys, flips, removes, or seals one of your cards, cancels effects. This works really well at defending our foundations, but it also works really well at making sure our opponent doesn't seal our cool cards. One of the worst things that could happen is if our opponent tries to seal Chun-Li and we haven't used it yet, or if our opponent tries to if they're Lilith and they try to seal our Raging Dragon. We just don't want to see that happen. We want to be able to play our cool cards, and this just stops that. And then the last card we're playing is 2 Most Trusted Assassin. It's a 0/5 with a 3 mid block that says E, once per turn, lose a vitality. Your opponent's next check to play an attack card gets -1. This just says we make it harder to block our attacks, or we make it harder for our opponent to play an attack on their turn. That way we can live longer, or we kill our opponent faster. Thanks again for checking out the profile, guys. If you liked my Chun-Li deck, let me know down below. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, stay learned.